So why don't we start with the chapter breakdown.
By chapter. Alright, first chapter is entitled The Greenest in Flames. And before you start DMing this or whatever, you need to decide for yourself whether you want it to, your leveling up system to be experience-based, or what do they call it in this, event-based?
Milestones.
Milestones, thank you. The way this is kind of set up is they want you to level up at the end of each chapter, which can go either way. There are chapters where you don't fight very much and not a lot happens, so if you were doing regular experience, you wouldn't level up. But let's say in the first chapter, if you do the math, you would level up in the first 2 encounters, and there's, let's say, 10, 15 encounters in the first chapter. So you could get to level 3 in episode 1 if you just do experience, but then, you know, by episode 7 you might only be level 5, and you should be level 7 according to this. So you got to decide for yourself which one you want to do. First one, Greenest in Flames. It's a town called the Greenest, and it's being attacked by the Cult of the Dragon. Why, when you guys enter the town, whatever reason your DM has for you being in the town, and you... So, one of the things I kind of like is you're kind of fighting for your own survival, at least in this.
Yeah.
The very first chapter, the very first encounter, you're fighting for your own survival. Yeah. Then you go to the big keep, and they send you on a bunch of missions.
So, I guess, just to point out one other thing, we ended up being level higher than we were supposed to be, because when Sean did it, he took that level up at the end of every chapter, but there's 8 chapters, and you start off at level 1.
Yeah.
So, technically, some of these chapters you're not supposed to level up.
And I think there was, if I remember correctly, there was a typo. It was like, at one point there's a list of every chapter you're supposed to level up at the end of, and one of them isn't listed there, but at the end of that chapter description it says, if you reach this point, your character should all gain a level. So it contradicts itself.
Right.
Which sucks.
So, when you start off, like you said, there's the random kind of encounters. You're walking in, you can save some people, get some experience, and then eventually you make it to the keep, where you meet the governor, Nighthill.
Governor Nighthill, yeah.
And then he's basically like, thank you for helping people out, essentially. We don't really know who you are, but we're going to send you on some missions.
We need help. You seem cool.
Right. So, let's go over what's supposed to happen.
Alright.
So, there's the Old Tunnel mission. Do you remember?
I do.
Okay.
First mission is the Old Tunnel, where he basically tells you that there's a secret exit from the keep. You go like in a room, and then you find a trapdoor, and then you go into the trapdoor, and it's a tunnel, and you get attacked by swarms of rats, which I didn't do because I was bored. And then you get to the end, and there's a rusted old gate. And this will start you right, like, kind of trial by fire, because the DCs are pretty high for picking the lock, and if you fail the DC by a certain number, your lock picks get stuck and break off in the lock, and then your only chance is to knock it down. They also added basically, this trapdoor tunnel leads you out towards by the river, and there are random Cult of the Dragon patrols by the river. So if you end up having to break it down, you get ambushed. And this is your second encounter of the campaign, and you're getting ambushed. So I remember when... Are we doing... No,
we'll just go with this. That's what's supposed to happen.
So that's what's supposed to happen, is you pick the lock, you get out, you find a way out, and I think there's even, like a way... Like, there might be people there, or there might not be, or maybe you see them first. Like, that's all built in there. To try for that encounter to not get ambushed.
Each time they use the tunnel to exit, roll a d6. On a roll of 1, raiders see the attackers. On a roll of 2, they are not attacked. Or on a roll of 2, they are seen but not attacked. Instead, the raiders set an ambush. So that is sort of the first mission. So why don't we talk about... I guess we'll go section by section for the missions, I guess, because there's a handful in the first chapter. So, info that they gave you as the DM, things that you had to change, stuff like that.
I took out the swarm of rats because we didn't have stats for swarm of rats. Yeah, that was pretty much it.
Okay. You kept everything else there pretty much the same.
Yeah. I got no complaints with this.
When we played, we'll talk about what happened. Nobody could pick locks, I don't think, at that point.
Mike could.
Oh, I think, yeah. So
I don't know if you knew that. But
I don't know. So I just strong-armed the door open, and then we got attacked.
you got ambushed. And 2 of you got downed?
2 of us went down to 0 hit points. We got back up, everybody was stabilized, and we made it. We defeated them, and we went back inside.
Yeah. Yeah, that was it.
Okay, and anything you would change on this encounter itself?
No, I actually liked it.
Okay.
Because, I don't know, I like introducing lockpicking this early because it is an important thing
Sure.
to have, and kind of starting it off at the beginning, like, listen, locks are a thing in the world, you need to pick them.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, and I like that trial by fire, you guys got ambushed, it started you taking enemies seriously.
Yeah.
Like,
sure.
from that point on, you guys weren't fucking around. You were trying to figure out the smartest way to take down the enemies and not die. The only downside, I would say, is that since you guys went down, it seemed like every time you got another mission for the rest of this, you were like, we almost died. I don't want to do more missions for you. I don't know you.
Yeah, true.
So
which is part of that whole lethality thing that I was talking about. Because I think what is it? It's how many guys do you get ambushed with?
2 cultists and 6 kobolds. And 10 minutes later, 2 cultists, 10 kobolds, and an ambush drake appear. Ambush drakes are pretty gnarly, and kobolds have a feature called pack tactics, where if they are within 5 feet of an ally when they attack you, they have advantage. So if you have, 6 kobolds in a group, all hucking slings at you, they all have advantage. Mm-hmm. So it can be pretty darn lethal. And the cultists can, even if they go in melee and they're doing spears, they're still getting advantage on their attacks.
Yeah. So you can imagine that, especially if you're only playing with like 4 players,
this
could be really bad.
You die super easy.
Yeah.
Cool.
So let me stop. So I'll just cut that.